Does your name decide your future? Naturally, if your name is Caitlin, but spelled with a K and V and 3 I's, because V and 3 I's in Roman is 8, thus creating Caitlin, you're sure to be on the path to bullying and ridicule, which creates a bad precedent in your formative years. But what about normal names? If your name is Taylor, are you more likely to tailor clothes? And if your name is Smith, are you more likely to wield hot iron? These questions are the basis of a concept called Nominative Determinism, which means name-driven outcome. John Hoyland first noticed it after coming across a book on the polar regions by one Daniel Snowman. The theory goes that your name affects certain decisions in your life, such as choosing your profession, and this has a striking resemblance to the old Latin saying nomen est omen, which means the name is a sign. But this approach concerns whether your name impacts your behavior, as in, would you have been a different person if only your parents had named you something else? In a 2002 study, Pelham, Mirenberg and Jones found that there was a disproportionate amount of Dennises and Denises in dentistry, as well as Lawrences in the lawyer business. This also applies to people choosing where to live, as they found a higher number of Louises in Louisiana and Georges in Georgia. The study even went as far as finding a correlation between your date of birth and the city you're living in. So if you're born on March 3rd, you're more likely to find yourself attracted to the small city of 3 Rivers in Michigan. They coined this term implicit egotism, which is the unconscious psychological tendency to prefer things that can be associated with oneself. It was based on a combination of the mere ownership effect, which explains that people evaluate things they own more positively than other people do, and the name letter effect, which states that people have a tendency to prefer letters that are included in their own name. So this could be the reason that EGOT Judge chose to become a judge. Another study from Swebner et al. Expounds that names may be a self-fulfilling prophecy. They argue that, once a baby receives a name, this social label leads to certain social expectations, inferences, and interactions. It's possible that he or she is treated as if certain personality traits based on his or her name are already in place. In turn, the social attitude that a name triggers and its influence on one's identity may affect the individual's self-perception and development of traits, which eventually may be realized in his or her facial appearance. So that means if there exists a societal stereotype that Reginas are cunning, manipulative, and often wear a lot of makeup, then other Reginas are more likely to gravitate towards that behavior. So the collective sum of all Reginas make up the stereotype of Reginas, which then dictates the behavior of new Reginas. Furthermore, the results indicated that people subconsciously change their hairstyles and facial expressions to fit the stereotype of that given name, thus giving a strong indication why a lot of us feel like names often fit the person. In a third study, Twenge and Manis looked at self-satisfaction and other people's rating of one's name. They found a strong link between your first name and identity, in which the name becomes a symbol of the self. If others perceive you negatively because you have an undesirable first name, you may eventually internalize this negative view, coming to believe it yourself. This also applies to the dating world. Dating app users with popular names such as Alexander were far more likely to receive attention than the most negative names such as Kevin. But alas, there are no definitive answers in this mess, so perhaps it's best to leave this issue for now and let Tsuyu continue a lawyer practice in peace.